Coming at you like Cleopatra. Word for Ali G. Why not me? Thank you for joining me for Whiskey Review number 225 with the Whiskey Novice. Still on a peated train. Not a series. It's not a series. And we're with Laphroaig Lore. Laphroaig Lore. Yeah, this is one that's been about a while. I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve a little. Maybe I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve a little. So I'll not say too much. Let's get into the facts. Let's get into the details. 48%. Non-chill filtered is the colour at it. Don't know. Doesn't say anywhere. Couldn't find any, but we'll just say yeah. No. We'll say no. Say yes. And this one is it's a blend of casks, so it's a blend of whiskies, blend of malts. That's the one. All within Laphroaig, aged between 7 and 21 years, and you're looking at maturation there of ex-bourbon, European oak, and Oloroso. What was it? Oloroso casks and quarter casks. There you go. All very deep. All very. There you go. Laphroaig, one of those distilleries. Laphroaig. Not Laphroaig, not them. This isn't their fault. This isn't their fault. But this is the divisive whiskey, as far as I can tell. In that, here's a little story. That's got nothing to do with reviewing, but I hear it day and daily. I don't like Scotch whiskey. That's what I hear in the Irish whiskey shop in which I work. I don't like Scotch whiskey. Right. Why do you not like Scotch whiskey? Oh, it's too smoky. Right, well, it's not all smoky, okay? So let's get that out of the way. What was this? What Scotch whiskey have you tried that you didn't like? Oh, the only Scotch whiskey I've ever tried is Laphroaig. Right. Probably one of the peatiest Scotch whiskies, and phenolic parts per million, ppm. Laphroaig, maybe not so much as others, or maybe more so, but there's a thing about Laphroaig that tends to stand out, and it's generally, I find with Laphroaig, it's the more medicinal smoky side of things. Laphroaig tends to hang on the iodine, or one that we would generally talk about in the UK here as TCP. I've mentioned it before, that TCP note, to the point where I have carried TCP with me in the past and said, smell that, smell Laphroaig, tell me they smell the same, and they don't. But you can't help it. It's your olfactory memory that tells you that TCP thing is there, because it can't latch it on to anything else. There's no other smell really out there, that, especially to just your general consumer, somebody that's trying this for the first time. There's no other smell out there that they can latch on to that this reminds them of. So TCP is what comes to mind. It's simple. And as I said, or iodine. It's that sort of very medicinal, hospitally, band-aids, etc., things like that there that tend to come to mind whenever nosing. Malts, very like Laphroaig. Not even Ardbeg or Lagavulin or things like that there. Laphroaig tends to be a standout. So let's get into this. I've waffled on long enough. 48% non-chill filter. What I love about this is you can smell this. That's one of the things about Laphroaig. You'll smell Laphroaig across the room. I love it. I absolutely love it. Do I love this? But this is the thing. So let's, as I said earlier, wearing my heart on my sleeve a bit already, so let's get in and see. And I'm approaching gently because it is a typical Laphroaig. It's got that medicinal iodine note. And like it or not, it is something that we all do. We all so there's a medicinally thing about the smokiness on this. There's a lovely, weirdly actually, and I'm getting it now that I didn't get before, there's also a lovely sort of Lagavulin-y type pineapple, or certainly tropical fruit note going on there as well. Although there's also not an awful lot else. That's the problem. Appley, bright, sharp things. That's any smokiness is definitely representing as medicinal rather than boggy, even clean, dried paper, dry wood, anything like that. No, it's more so medicinal. Maybe slightly sea air, slightly sea breeze, but very, very slightly more so about that medicinal thing. It's nice though. I mean, there's no, it's a bit of a fleeting statement. What's it like? Nice. But you could live in it. Barbecued. Another thing I get an awful lot with Laphroaig, and it's here again, barbecued meat. Chicken with barbecue sauce on it in the distance. Yes, it's there. A nice fruity roundness. Look, it is nice. It is nice. But just... So let's get into the palate. Now, sweet, sour, slightly better arrival. Biscuity, a bit of an off note in there. Not sure what that off note is. Coffee. It's coffee cake or walnut. That's what it is. Walnut in coffee cake. That's exactly what it is. Never noticed that before. Doesn't sit terribly well in it. That's weird. No, I can't get it out of my head. Smokiness there, yes. Those fruity notes, yes. It is bitter. Coats well. It's the smokiness as well that's starting to represent as that bitterness or walnut bitterness. It's good. It is good, but it's slightly weirdly off kilter. If that makes sense. It just feels like as if there's something not sitting where it should be in here. Man, that I talk some. It's weird, but it's true. That's just feels like there's something off. And it's certainly not the big powerhouse smoke bomb, peat monster, whatever you want to call it. This has sat around for a while. It's not the first time I've had Laphroaig Lore. As in this bottle, you can see there's not an awful lot out of this bottle. It's not the first one, but Laphroaig Lore is a strange one. In that, I never owned a bottle before, but I definitely had it a few times in bars, etc. And I expected a lot of Laphroaig Lore. I think that was my problem. This is, once again, pretty much, I would suggest, the upper echelon of the Laphroaig core range. It's after the Laphroaig Lore that you're getting into their sherry casks, their 10-year-old cask strengths, and things like the 19-year-old, things like that. 16-year-old. So I think I just had an expectation of the lore that it's not being fulfilled. It's not bad. Not bad, sharp, fruity, tropical, finish, slightly dry. Not hanging around with the smokiness. It's actually, if there's any creaminess on the palate, or any creaminess. It is hanging around the finish, so it's not bad that way. Just, I think it was my expectation and what was delivered didn't match up for me in this. It's probably around the 60 to 65 pounds mark now. Drop of water didn't do it any harm. Have I gone, this is starting to make me wonder, have I gone a little smoke blind? Because I've been reviewing so many smoky whiskies recently. I have been enjoying my smoky whiskies of late. It's something that I tend to sort of go ebb and flow in that summers I tend to like sweeter whiskies, bourbons, etc. Winter, like a lot of us, that's whenever I drink my smoky whiskies around the winter time. It is a nice palate. Drop of water actually makes it even nicer. It's a nice whiskey. It's not as good as I would expect from Laphroaig. That's pretty much summing it up. It's certainly not one I will replace. And I'm not going to say any more than that. Let's move on. So I pulled up very short there and said, right, let's just move on. Why? I did do that for a reason. Because I'm going to offer up to you, as a suggestion, a bottle that, when I said I'll not replace this, it's a bottle that, when here's the best way to describe it. I've got quite a few Laphroaigs across the sort of span now. And one of the bottles that I haven't currently got is the one that I'm going to offer up as an alternative. And let's just get into it. It's this one. Bing! The quarter cask. The Laphroaig quarter cask. And the thing about it is, I've had a couple of bottles in the past. And it's the one that when I've got enough Laphroaigs going on now, weird ones and bizarre ones, to do me. So what will happen is that once I'm finished them, once they're gone, which eventually they will be, I will buy, and I will continue to buy, the quarter cask. The Laphroaig quarter cask is easily, and this has been me. This is pretty much the end of my Laphroaig experiment, the lore, in that I've been buying, the sherry casks, the cask strengths, the Cargiuses, things like that. And some of them have been fantastic. Some of them have been just all right. But mostly, that's the thing. Mostly, they've been disappointing. Whereas the quarter cask, I've had a couple of bottles in the past, and I found them to be really, really good and really good representatives of Laphroaig and what Laphroaig should be. So why have I not replaced it? Because of this. I've just been buying different ones and feeling around in Laphroaig to see what they're at. I love it. It's a beautiful distillery. If and when Laphroaig ever disappears, that's it. And this is a very bold statement, but to me, draw a line under Islay and say, you're done, because I can't think of Islay without thinking of Laphroaig, without thinking of Ardbeg, without thinking of Lagavulin, without thinking of Bamore, without thinking of now Bruichladdich, Bunnahabhain, etc., etc. Without them all, Islay wouldn't be Islay. But Laphroaig is just one of them that's been around there, and it's that talking point. It's Laphroaig. But it's disgusting. How can you drink that stuff? I love it. Love it. That's the thing. When people, as to say, come out with that, how do you drink that stuff? And I'm saying, I love it. It's incredible. They don't get it. And unfortunately, the lore is just not a good example, in my opinion, of what Laphroaig are capable of. They're another one of these distilleries that I think are feeling around a little still after all these years, they're still feeling around a little, and sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's missed. So anyway, yeah, I would just recommend that if you're ever going to buy a Laphroaig, actually, just buy the quarter cask and be done with it, because that's what I'll be doing going forward. Once they're wiped out, it'll be the quarter cask, and that'll do me. So let's just move that aside, and I'll consider that my recommendation. And you can consider that my recommendation too. There you go. Thank you for joining me. I'll not replace the Laphroaig Lore. Thank you for joining me. Oh, did it say price? Did I? I think it's around about, maybe I did, 60, 65, I think. Maybe I did. Thank you for joining me. Thank you very much to my patrons. Should anybody wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below. I'll be back the next time. Will it be something peated? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Until then, look after yourselves. Here's to your good health. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.